you so much. I'm Lynette Greenhall. I'm the Managing Director of Education here at the Chamber, and thank you for being patient with our technology and with our busy schedule we have this morning. So we appreciate you taking time to come here and learn about Future Focus Camp. I think you met most of our team, and you met Elizabeth Cottle when you came in at the front desk. Jackie Vega, Jacqueline Vega, who is our program coordinator, is going to tell you all about the camp. And on behalf of Angela Farley, our senior VP, who is not here today, traveling with her family, celebrating the graduation of her son, you will get to meet her during camp. So we appreciate you being here, because we cannot do this without the kinds of volunteers and the effort that you all bring forth. This is a very special camp for us, and it's important that our young people here get a chance to see true business professionals and meet you from all different walks of life and learn from you so that they can learn about what the business world is like. This is well, let me tell you a little bit first about why we do this here at the Dallas Regional Chamber. Many of you know that we have a strategic plan that we've been operating under for almost 5 years now. In fact, we're in the process of redoing that for the next 5 years. But that plan was put into place when a commitment was made specifically for the Chamber and the business community to help drive improvements in public and higher education in our region. The wisdom of the folks that put that plan in place helped us understand that Dallas cannot be the city that it needs and wants to be, and we cannot attract the kind of businesses that we want to have here without a vibrant and strong and truly a revolutionary educational system. And so that's the plan that we work under here at the Chamber, and we're going to continue that. But that brought forth particularly a concept that we not only needed to improve and drive improvements in education, but to raise the graduation rate was one of our particular goals here in the Dallas region. And we have actually done that we haven't actually done that, but the people working in the education system have helped drive and raise that graduation rate. And so now our focus has shifted a bit in terms of how to improve and raise the quality of those graduates so that they can be ready to move themselves into the workforce. Some of you that are in my generation know that when we first went to college, and one of the things that happened over the course of the years was that people just talked to you and said, just go to college. Just go to college and get a college degree and life will be fine and everything will be great. We now know that that's really not what's not productive. We need to help our young people see how they get themselves from education to the employment. That college is not the end game anymore. The workforce and the employment world is the end game. And that's what this camp is designed to do. So we will bring together young people to expose them to the business profession and to move them along that spectrum. Today we're going to do 3 things. We're going to tell you a little bit about this program. We're going to talk to you about what your volunteer role looks like, and then we'll give you an overview of what the camp looks like. We want to tell you about how we got to Future Focus. We have Accenture as our partner to do that, and Deanna Nagels from Accenture is our partner here to do. They actually had a program that was called Skills to Succeed, a corporate citizenship initiative. That their goal was to equip 500,000 people across the country in 2015 with job skills about how to be engaged in the job world and to build a business. They developed the curriculum. It is a college and career readiness program that Accenture developed in coordination with KIPP charter schools, and the participants in the program learn essential career and life skills and network with career professionals from a variety of organizations, and that's where you all come in. In 2012, they expanded that Future Focus program to other cities besides us. I think they're listed here that you can see. This is the 3rd year at the Chamber that we have undertaken Future Focus Camp, and originally the curriculum was 16 Saturdays over a period of time. But with Deanna and some of our volunteers and the work that Jacqueline has done, we sort of redesigned and redeployed that curriculum to create a summer camp program. And most of our students are coming to us from South and West Dallas, and we hope to have about 100 students over the course, and they'll be rising juniors and seniors. Some of them are from Dallas ISD schools, some of them from area charter schools that are involved. And then we also this year have the great benefit of having 4 students from Paulkin College who are going to serve as our camp counselors. That was one of our new ads this year that we're really excited to bring forth. So let me introduce to you again Jacqueline Vega, who is our coordinator. This is her effort, and she's been coordinating the camp for us, and she's going to fill in all the other pieces.
Yeah, so thank you again for being here today to join us for orientation. I'm sorry we're rolling through a little bit late. What I'm going to do first is show our video from last year, which I think is really helpful. Last year was the first year that we had our program at the University Center, which is downtown on Main Street, where we will be again this year. Thank you again for being here. I hope that that video kind of showed a little bit. It was a good example a lot about not what we're going to be doing, but the space at camp, which it's a really great space. Again, we will be hosted by UNT System at the University Center, which is wonderful. A couple of just quick details. The cost to students to participate is completely free. We provide everything: breakfast, lunch for the students, transportation during site visits. So we'll also have kind of giveaways that I'll get to in a second. This is going to be 8 days of camp during 2 weeks, Mondays through Thursdays. So the camp is held from June 15th to June 25th. Again, we will have breakfast, snack, and lunch provided for students and for volunteers. This year we have grown. We actually will not provide coffee, so I just want to be upfront about that before we have a volunteer date. I know I'm a huge coffee drinker, and I'm ready to do cafe before camp days, because believe it or not, it is, there's a lot to be done during that day, so you will feel pretty tired. So if you're a big coffee drinker, you definitely want to take care of that beforehand. One great component of our program is that through your help, through volunteer engagement with the students will have a chance to win prizes. So we will give away, small gift cards, $5, $10, $20 for, to go to the movies, for restaurants and things like that. And the way that we gauge that is when volunteers are broken out into their small groups with students, we'll have you, write names and write a nice comment for our shout out board, give our students a little bit of encouragement, and from there we'll take their names, put them in a daily drawing, and that's what we're getting our pool for prizes. Another component of that prize engagement is that students who show great participation and who are present every day of camp will receive a grant of up to $50 for professional dress for job interviews or internship interviews, which is really wonderful for the students. Volunteer specifics for you all to know. We will be held at the University Center at 1901 Main Street, just downtown, where it will be on the 4th floor. Parking will be validated. There's a parking garage east of the campus, the Elm Street garage, and I have included in your packet like step-by-step photo instructions about how to get to us. It can be a little confusing. Know as well that we will have signs posted, and I will have volunteers kind of to help direct, because it can get a little crazy. And I will also email those out beforehand, just so that you have them again in another copy. I will also send out ahead of time, both a week ahead of time and the day before, the curriculum for your volunteer day, just to make sure that you're able to review and go over what we're doing the day of. I think it's really, really helpful, and we'll also go over that in a second. Attire, again, we're teaching those great business professional skills, so we just want to make sure that we have everyone in business professional or business casual, because we're demonstrating those professional dress skills to the students. And we ask that volunteers join us from 8:30 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Okay. This is a kind of a calendar of what we'll be doing each day. So you can see that we have 3 days in class, and then these days at AT&T, TD Industries, the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank, Methodist Hospital, and DFW Airport, we'll be exploring field visits for the students. We will again provide transportation to and from those locations, this is just to give students a really great behind-the-scenes look about what different careers look like. Within a business, you can have marketing, maybe producing a product, something, along those lines for every career that you're looking into. So we really want to make sure we're giving an in-depth look at what working looks like and what different careers, a student might want to follow through with that will come with a wage that'll be sustainable for the lifestyle that student's looking for. Things to note: by the end of camp, with your help, students will have written a resume. They will have completed a mock interview. I think you saw that in the video that the students were doing one-on-ones, and a lot of you will be with us for that day. They will have also developed a college and career plan, and they will have had a hands-on experience in building their professional skills through interaction with you all.
Jacqueline, can you walk us through a given day? So most volunteers are signing up for which days, and then if we're at the client sites, what does that mean?
So actually we won't have volunteers working at any of the different sites. Our days that were available for volunteer service were these 3. That's day 1 on June 15th, that's our first day of camp. Day 2, which is the 16th, June 16th, and day 3, which is actually our last day of camp. Our first day, again, we asked you to be with us at 8:30 in the morning at the University Center. Students will start arriving at that time. We will have a lead instructor for the day, so just like I'm here in front of the classroom, we will have someone from Accenture, the Dallas Regional Chamber, or United Way to help us with that. So just know that we won't throw you under the bus and ask you to be the lead instructor for the day randomly out of nowhere. That's not going to happen to you. We won't do that to you. You will be working with a group of students as a group facilitator. It'll be about 5 to 7 students that you're working with one-on-one in small groups to kind of help guide that conversation, the main conversation up front. That's helpful. Know also for those full days, so day 1 is a full day, and then day 2, I know we had a number of people between these 2 days that were going to stay the full day as well. We do have a lunch break, so there is a little bit of a break in there, about 30-45 minutes, where the students will go grab lunch. You're also welcome to grab lunch or make your phone calls or what have you, just to make sure that you do get a break, because like I said, we're moving pretty fast, and you'll be answering questions and talking to students, so that's a great thing to think about. Let's see if I missed anything. So we talked a little bit about your volunteer service. So again, we either had people sign up, volunteers as group facilitators working in those groups, 5 to 7 student groups, or you sign up to volunteer as a mock interviewer, which would be one-on-one with students on June 16th. So one way, a really great way to prepare, I really encourage you when I send out the daily curriculum to at least give it a little review, just to know the topics that we'll be going over for the day. Again, I'll send that a week and then a day ahead of time. Be really open and comfortable with starting a conversation with the kids. They are a little shy at first, but they really do get going, and you'll create a relationship with them as the day goes on. We just ask that while you're with us, that you try to keep limited use of cell phones, and hopefully you don't bring a laptop, but if you did, then limited use there as well. I know that you all are taking time out of your day, and you are really busy individuals, of course. We want to make sure that we clear that time to work with the students directly. Okay, so we talked about kind of talking and engaging with students. I have provided a couple of lead-in questions, and I also have a sheet of additional questions that might help lead in conversation for the different days that we'll be volunteering. So again, don't be afraid to ask me, any of our class instructors, questions. Students, I think these are great starter questions. What are you looking for? What are your goals? What are your career goals? I think what we're really looking for is for individuals to share their own experiences with students. So how did you get to where you are? What career path have you followed? Have you had a different career path than others in your field? Those are really helpful questions for students to know about. Also, if perhaps a student expresses interest in the field that you work in, it would be really helpful, to kind of based on what a student says, if you know of a career pathway that maybe is a little unusual or less known, that you could kind of share that just as a thought with the student that they may be able to explore. Super helpful. I know we all know, but I have to note that volunteers should not be alone with students at any point for any reason. If for some reason you're one-on-one with a student and you find yourself alone, just find your way back to the group. That would be great. Again, we are working on professional skills during this camp, so handshakes are wonderful and encouraged. Hugs, students do want to give you hugs. Plenty of times you create a relationship, and that's great. We're working on that side hug. That's wonderful. We love side hugs. We talked about a sample curriculum for the day, so this is what your curriculum will look like. It will be timed out this way for the day, and you'll be able to see the topics that we'll go over in our PowerPoint, in our main PowerPoint. We will also have guest speakers come and visit with us and talk to the students for about 10-15 minutes throughout the day. So, those could shift just per the speaker's schedule, but things will remain more or less the same. Again, a lunch break there around 11:30 to 12 for most days. So we've got a little bit of time between now and our camp. We've got 2 weeks till day one, so we're really hitting the ground running at this point. But if you are interested in donating, a shout out for our incentive board or incentive for our shout out board, that would be wonderful. We've had people do that in the past, or donate small scholarships would be really great. If you have an interest, just let me know. Another thing to do would be enlist your colleagues to come and volunteer with us. We are still looking for volunteers. We would love to have more one-on-one interviewers. That's really volunteer intensive day just because we're doing one-on-one work with the students. So if you would share our link with anyone that you know that may be interested, that would be super helpful. And then also after the camp, after you've worked with students, be open to having that student, posting that student in your workplace as a volunteer, mentoring them, bringing them on as an intern. Those are great connections to make for the student, just to continue to learn after camp. Feel free to share your professional information with the students. That would really be a great opportunity. We have had volunteers take on students as mentors in the past, and see them through to the college application process and college admissions, which is really wonderful to see. Okay, so that's the end of the line. Does anyone have questions for me regarding our program so far?
No coffee?
No coffee. I know, I'm so sorry. We grew this year. Last year, we actually had capacity for 75 students, and this year we're at 100. So we're a little tighter on the budget. Believe me, I would love it if we had it every day.
Tell us a little bit about what the students have gone through before they get to camp. Have they had conversations with their counselors, or is this ground zero to?
They will be varied. The experience level will be varied. Definitely, there are a number of high schools that have very targeted career development curriculum through that junior and senior year, which is wonderful. There are a lot of high schools that just don't. Or maybe they've had a little bit here and there, but not as targeted as a program as ours have. So some do have resumes that are developed, some don't. We know that we'll be working with students at different levels, and just know that you might have someone who may have no idea what they're doing for a resume in your group, and then someone who is just completely on it and wear their suit for the day, which is amazing. So, yeah.
How are these students chosen? Is it something that they sign up for, or a counselor recommends them for?
A little bit of both. I did a lot of our recruitment through organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, a lot of partnership efforts with local nonprofits. I also went and discussed with counselors, presented at schools. I did a little bit of both. Some counselors target students and came up with a group of targeted students and funneled them through and had them apply to our system online. And others as a student just know that they wanted to get ahead and participate in our program, and they applied for themselves, or a parent that pushed them through, which is great. And just our screening process for students was really, we tried to make sure that we didn't give too much of a barrier for students. We had a pretty short application process. We did not require a resume or GPA requirements or anything like that, just to make sure that we had those students who were kind of in the middle or kind of not doing so well, that they'd still be able to come and really gain something from our program.
And Jacqueline, don't we still have a few slots available? So
We do.
if you happen to engage with kids in your daily life, those rising juniors and seniors, so please get them in touch with Jacqueline.
Yes, that'd be wonderful. Our application is still live, and I can send out that link as a follow-up just in case for everyone, also with a link to volunteer.
But they have to be able to get to University Center on their own?
They do. We did provide transportation assistance for students, so we provided free DART passes to students, and also if they drive their own cars and come to us, we pay their parking because there's a cost associated to parking. Hi.
Hi. So perhaps this is implied, but if we are only doing the interviews from 11:30 to 2, do you want us to just show up at 11:30, or would you still like us there for the whole day?
If you're only doing the interviews, if you've only signed up to do the interview part of the day, 11:30 is great. Like I said, we will have lunch kind of in between that time. That's kind of a transition period. So it'll be just early enough for us to have you come in, get settled in, receive your interview questions. We will provide those interview questions, I don't think I mentioned that, for you to ask the students for their short interviews.
Do you still need additional help that morning?
Yes, yes, we do. And I also included, in your packet is kind of a shortened, condensed version of what we went over today, those need-to-know items. Also, directions from the university, the garage at the University Center through to the classroom, and an additional volunteer flyer in case you wanted to share any of the information.
Jacqueline, for the interview questions, didn't we agree that you're going to provide those earlier so that they can kind of prep for what the jobs may be or what they're interviewing for?
Yes, we will provide that earlier. Again, I'm providing all curriculum a week ahead of time, so just expect to see that in your inbox, both a week ahead of time and the day before. I will absolutely provide that so that you're not in the dark about, what's going on with the interview process. We'll take care of that.
So we're playing the role of interviewing them for a specific position and a specific job, or?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different scenarios. It's been a little while since I've looked over them, but one, for example, is you're the student interviewing for an internship at the local nonprofit, and then there are questions to kind of lead into that. And I think there is another scenario that's if you're a student or you're a young professional looking for a job in this field, and then there's questions leading into that as well.
So this is an environment where we're interviewing a high school student, not a college graduate?
No. Yes, it will be a high school student. Yes.
So during the training, we're encouraging them, so leading up to the interviews, we'll be teaching them how to leverage their current expertise or experience. So if it means they type X number of words a minute, for example, their babysitting experience, their volunteer service at church or in their community. So when you're interviewing, they will be discussing examples of things that they have done that relate to the potential opportunity. So it's really a real life, kind of where they are in the point of time in their lives and how to best position that for an opportunity. Because what we don't want to do is kind of do pretend, if you know what I mean, and have them pretend as if they've graduated and gotten a degree and so forth. But it's really about a true opportunity. If this opportunity were afforded them tomorrow, how would they respond, react, and leverage what they already know and or their experiences?
And how long does each interview last?
They're each
I would say
10, 15
10,
minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. And you'll probably have, I think, 4, right? Yeah.
So for those of us who are doing just the interview, we would be getting into these questions here, right? You give us the questions?
Yeah, those are kind of to help you when you're working,
Yes.
in between with students. But yes, we will provide interview questions, targeted interview questions for that process. And yes, that is a point where you'll be working one-on-one. Yeah, those will be provided.
So for the interview, you're gonna get a scenario, for example.
Mhm.
The scenario will be at the top, you are interviewing for this type of job. So in your prep, you'll be able to think about, okay, if I run a nonprofit position and I was hiring for an intern or, a high school student, what would I think and what would I say, what types of questions would I ask? And then you'll get a specific list of types of questions. You can tweak those as you see fit, but it's the onus of the student to then respond according to how you interview
My
them.
question is really for selfish reasons, I just rather have this discussion.
Oh, you can have those too, but.
There will be time also. Last year, we actually had a little extra time than anticipated, so you did have a chance to kind of just talk to the students for a little bit. Also during the interview day, we're giving away like a padfolio, one of those interview padfolios to the students. Each of you will give to the student that gave the best interview for the day, which is a lot of fun because then you're able to reciprocate something to the student, which is great.
Well, and they will be using their resumes that they've developed, so championing their own skills. But then there'll be a little bit of reflection time at the end,
Yes.
so that then you could then offer them some suggestions on, you did a really nice job in explaining to me your skills, but maybe you would like to work on, give them some tips about things you wish they told you, or things that could have impressed you had they been able to share that kind of information. So and you'll see them get better after they do 3 or 4 each, but remember that in many cases, this is the first time that any of these young people will have actually participated in a job interview situation, and maybe had any kind of close contact with a business professional. So it's really important for you to help them understand that role and how to help them sell themselves in that environment.
Are they choosing the scenario?
No,
No.
we will offer 2 and they'll do 2 different ones or however many rounds that they're able to go through.
One more question to piggyback off of that. Is there any type of job description that they get to read, or? I'm curious, because typically if you're interviewing, you see the job description, you see what the company's looking for, and then you know what to speak to.
Yeah.
So we'll prep, so what we'll do is provide them a list of what the potential job opportunities are, and then they'll have a few minutes to kind of read them to prepare. Because otherwise, we don't want them walking in blindly, just like we don't want you all walking in blindly. But what we can't do, and we'll try our best to do this, but sometimes you just don't know who's gonna show up the day of, and it just gets a little kind of quirky, so we wind up passing them out the day of, so they'll have to read them all. We won't be able to assign specifically, you will be applying for this job, because we could not have a match, for example, for those. So it gets a little quirky, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, and also know, Deanna will be leading our resume day, our resume interview day, so they will have some in-class instruction in terms of, in the morning, they'll go over PowerPoint, like components of a resume, what you should look for, what skills translate, and then the students from them will kind of work one-on-one with volunteers. Same with interviews, we'll go over a bit of the classroom instruction part. Like these are a specific type of interview question, just expect these things in an interview and how that process works, and then we will practice it firsthand. Yeah.
Do you have a few details about the college day?
Yeah, let me go back to that slide. Yes, so during the college day, the morning, these times, I'm sorry, are actually not correct. It's 11:30 to 2 was the volunteer opportunity time. At 9 a.m. to about 11, we will have a college fair with local universities and colleges coming and talking to students. The students will be able to go to the universities that they're interested in and ask them questions about college admissions, what to expect, ask what the colleges are looking for, and so forth. During the latter end of the day that volunteers will be joining us and you will be working in groups, we will have a number of speakers to discuss college admissions applications, college funding, FAFSA, TAFSA, those sorts of things. We really, during that component, I will provide you a lot of questions, by email that kind of talk about what do you think your barriers are to college, how a student might think about resolving that. What type of university are you interested in? Public, private, in-state, out-of-state? Those sorts of questions that students should really be thinking about now. and working through to make sure that they're going through the pipeline correctly. So, great. Well, any other questions? And if anyone else has anything later, you're welcome to shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to take care of you.
We do thank you so very much. We hear from the kids that one of the most enriching experiences in this camp is the ability to and the opportunity to interact with business professionals so that they can actually see what it looks like to take a journey. So we do encourage you to share with them your journey and your challenges and your successes so they can relate to that and they can also see what pathways might be beneficial to them. We hear from our business people here at the Chamber all the time that what happens in the work world is that people get hired for hard skills, the things that you know about some content. But when they lose their opportunities to work in the world is because of soft skills, the things that they haven't had a chance to really relate with. So that is the real contribution that you all can bring to them along the way to help them understand that and the curriculum that builds them so that they are ready to, if they should need to move straight to the world of work, then they've got some skills. Or if they need to use that as a supplement along their educational path journey, they have some skills and abilities to move and to contribute to that level. So that's what this is all about, and part of our effort here at the Chamber is, along with Accenture and our sponsor partnerships with the UNT system, is to help move people to that world of work, to earn a living wage and to be a productive citizen in this society, wherever it takes them along that path, and that's what this is designed to do. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate you being here. We know your time is important, so we appreciate it very much.